Welcome into Game Day View. I am Andrew Hawkins, joined by Cynthia Freeland and Greg Rosenthal. Game Day View presented by Mercedes-Benz, I should say. And as we get you ready for today's slate of games, there is a lot that has been changed since Friday. The Chiefs and the Patriots game has been postponed due to multiple players, including quarterback Cam Newton, testing positive for COVID-19. That's right. Since then, the Patriots and the Chiefs, all the rest of their players have tested negative for the second straight day as of today, and it looks like New England will fly to Kansas City Monday in hopes of a Monday night game. All right, so let's get started today. Greg said, if you didn't hear him, that Ian Rappaport is reporting that they're hoping the game goes on Monday. That is the preference of both teams. So now we're going to get into today's slate of games. We start with the Browns and the Cowboys. Oh, you see Ian Rappaport's tweet right there. The plan to continue the games on Monday. All right, now we're on to Cleveland and Dallas. Dallas is favored by 3.5 points in this one. I'll start things off, man. With this matchup, I'm looking to see if Baker Mayfield can have the game we need him to have, right? He is the franchise quarterback, but he hasn't quite had that breakout game yet. Can Baker Mayfield come in here against this Dallas football team and show the entire world that he is ready to take the next step as a quarterback and take advantage of those weapons around him? That's the biggest question for me. How about you, Cynthia?
I'm actually looking on the other side of the ball, and I'm curious to see what the case for Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and obviously we're waiting to make sure Kareem Hunt plays, but the run game for Cleveland, because we've seen this Dallas defense give up a bunch of passing yards, but if they can establish the run, and if Nick Chubb can continue to be great, and by the way, he leads the NFL in yards above expected per rush, and that's a really predictive metric in terms of what could be successful, that will be the key to Cleveland upsetting Cowboys.
All right, I think I am back now. You know who else is back in this game? Tyron Smith. That's a big deal. The Cowboys found out this week they're going to be without Lyle Collins at right tackle for the rest of the season, but getting Tyron Smith back for this game, as we expect. Here's Jane Slater's tweet showing Tyron Smith on the field before the game. Dak Prescott, of course, here too. She's reporting he's expected to be back against Myles Garrett. That's huge. I have the Cowboys winning 35-28. I love this offense. I think the Browns really can't keep up in a shootout. So again, passing game 35-28 should be a lot of fun. Next up, we got a game I'm watching early. It's Chargers. It's Bucks. It's Justin Herbert. It's Tom Brady. I mean, I'm loving this game. Justin Herbert's played awesome through 2 starts, and I think he's going to keep this game close. I have the Bucks winning, but only by 6 points. The Bucks are favored by 6.5, and their offense in Tampa really isn't getting going quite yet. I think the Chargers defense will be able to keep this game close and keep it entertaining for me. I assigned it to myself, so come through for me, Bucks. Make it fun.
All right. Well, I'm actually going on the other side with the same winner. I have an 8-point win for the Bucks, 28-20 in this one. Remember, no Chris Godwin means Mike Evans gets an uptick in potential fantasy production. You could look at Scotty Miller, et cetera, et cetera. No Leonard Fournette means Rojo. You want to take a look at all of these people. I'm a little concerned about how banged up the Chargers defense has been. You know, Chris Harris, not sure he's going to play. So that's a big deal for Mike Evans and his factor, especially in the red zone.
I agree. I think the defense for the Chargers is a concern. Justin Herbert, he's been playing really well these last couple of weeks, specifically the way he's handled the blitz. I don't believe it yet. I got to see more out of him. I mean, yes, he is playing like a guy that has been in the league for longer than 2 games, but I just don't know. I feel like the Cinderella slipper is going to fall off, and for that reason, I am going with the Buccaneers to take the W this week. All right, next up, we got the Vikings at the Texans. The good news here is that somebody has to win. The bad news is both these teams are 0-3. The Texans are favored by 3.5. I'm going with the Texans. I'm going with Deshaun Watson because I'm looking at their schedule, and the Texans really had a tough hand dealt to them early in the season. They start off the season against the Chiefs. They play the Ravens. They go against the Steelers. And there is a question. There's no DeAndre Hopkins still on this team. Deshaun Watson still trying to find his rhythm. I think he does that a little bit better today and comes away with a W. How about you, Cynthia?
I'm with you. I think a nice 4-point win. I think 28-24 is a great projected score for this one. I'm really looking at the diversity of pass catchers here. So in addition to Will Fuller, who's super speedy, you've also got Brandon Cooks. You've also got, you've seen Randall Cobb be useful. So ultimately, it's the options that Deshaun Watson has against this defense that we've seen just be very confused and missing pieces. Mike Hughes, their corner, who's their oldest corner of the cornerback core, he's not playing. So that's a big mismatch in terms of the speed of those pass catchers and the diversity that will be at Deshaun Watson's disposal.
Cynthia, 28-24 is a great score. 27-24 is even better. It's a big point right there. I have the Texans winning this game, but I don't quite trust them to win it big. I did notice Bill O'Brien, though, this morning, if you read Rap Sheet, he's got all the angles covered, Bill O'Brien. He's now taking a bigger hand in the play calling. He saw the schedule before the season. Let my offensive coordinator call the plays for those games. I'll ride in week 4 and be the hero. Like, Bill O'Brien is always looking to make Bill O'Brien look good. And I do think he'll look good today after a win. All right, we're going to go to break. But before that, we're going to look at Andrew Hawkins' favorite player. I mean, Andrew Hawkins told you first that Russell Wilson was going to be a good football player this year. He was on top of it.
I broke the news that Russell Wilson is good.
Looking good. Walking with a purpose there. I like it.
Back on Game Day View, it's time for Drive to Excellence, presented by Mercedes-Benz. Cynthia continues to lead the way with a 34-13-1 record, followed by Hawk, and Rosenthal brings up the rear. Greg, if you need to phone a friend, I'm here for you. Also, how did no one pick the tie? Amateurs. That was Drive to Excellence, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
All right, our next game, and by the way, I'm not worried about how I've done so far. I'm 1-0 in week 4. That's the only way you can start a comeback is going 1-0. I got 13, 14 more games to go, and we're going to get it going with Lions and Saints. This is where I catch up on both of y'all because I got the Lions winning this game in an upset. You know what? The Lions defense played pretty well last week. They look like a different offense when Kenny Galladay's on the field, but the reason I'm taking them is because of all the injuries for New Orleans. And so Adrian Peterson can take advantage of the fact that Marcus Davenport's out, Janoris Jenkins is out, Marshawn Lattimore is out. On offense, oh, by the way, Michael Thomas is still out. You're going to have to give the ball to Taysom Hill. He'll be fumbling again. And Jared Cook is out. I'm not trusting the Saints team. They're not the same old Saints. It is a different Lions. Have some faith in your boys, Cynthia, please.
I mean, no. I just pick it like the math says it. And the math says that it's not going to work out. It's 26-23. It's actually 28-23, sorry. And I have a pretty big Saints win, and that's with all of those injuries. That's with, I don't have a Taysom Hill fumble. Come on, that's not going to happen. It's the Lions. They're not getting pressure on the quarterback. You have to pressure the quarterback in order to make him fumble. So that is typically where the Lions will, unfortunately, do not keep the ball rolling with upsets. The Lions are going to lose at home.
I love it. I love it. I'm with you 100%, Cynthia. I'm going with the Saints. I just think the Saints is a better football team. They've had some tough luck early in the season with injuries, and they fumbled the ball literally and metaphorically late in games. But I think they put it together this week against the Lions. I don't know why Greg all of a sudden wants to crown Detroit as if this is a new team going against the perennial Super Bowl contenders. I'm going with the Saints. All right. Next up, we got Jacksonville heading to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Bengals are favored in this one by 2.5 points, and I am going with Cincinnati. This is not a homer pick, Greg, okay? I don't care what you tell me. This is because I am a believer in Mr. Joe Burrow. You've seen his maturation throughout the season. At the beginning, he's learning the ropes. His close loss to the Browns. Last week he ties. This week he gets the W against Jacksonville, a team that Cincinnati typically plays pretty well if we go against history. So there you go. What do you got, Cynthia?
So I'm a little worried about Joe Mixon. He showed up as questionable, so I'm looking at the injury report there. But Steve Mariucci told me that the Bengal tiger has the biggest teeth of any big cat in America. Don't know why that really matters, but it's a really interesting one. Unfortunately, it doesn't change the outcome. I have the Jags upsetting. I have a 25-23 upset pick in this one, despite how big a Bengal cat's teeth are.
I'm with you, Hawk, on Joe Burrow. I'm not with you on the Bengals defense. I have the Jaguars in an upset, too. Cynthia and I both have an upset here. I have 30-28. I think the offenses get it done in this game, but leave it to the Bengals to have an ugly tie in week 3. So we have to look at ugly records like 0-2-1, and later in the season it'll be 1-7-1. It's just like it messes up the standings. I am not a big fan. Let's move on to the next game. I'm a big fan of this one. Couple of cats. Cardinals going to Carolina. The Cardinals are favored in this game on the road by 3. I have the Cardinals winning by 1 point. It does look like DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk are trending towards playing in this game. That's enough for me to stick with the Cardinals, but I'm kind of splitting the difference here on a coin flip game because the Panthers, they're going to get KK Short back. He is a big deal. They played better on defense last week, had a few more healthy players. Brian Burns looked quite good. I think Kyler Murray gets it done with a rushing touchdown at the end, and the Cardinals just win.
Yeah, the Panthers' run defense is a real problem, and the Panthers' pass defense is also a problem when you have DeAndre Hopkins. Everyone's pass defense is a problem when it comes to that. So I'm really looking at Kyler Murray to have a nice bounce-back game after all those interceptions last game against the Lions. I have a strong win, 28-23 here for the Cardinals. Not so narrow, because I should think that Cardinals' defense is a bit underrated, and Matt Rule's offense has been working. Teddy Bridgewater has been great. It's been really interesting to see. And by the way, Robbie Anderson is fully playable in fantasy. But I do think this Cardinals defense and their ability to generate pressure, huge advantage for them.
I'm going with the Cardinals as well. I like Kyler Murray in this one. Especially if he can stop the turnovers from a week ago, and I think he does correct that. I do expect a big game out of Teddy Bridgewater because I think they'll go to the air a lot because their running game just has not been clicking. All right, next up, we got the Colts headed to Chicago to take on the Bears. The Colts are favored by 3 in this one, and I'm going with the Colts. I expect a heavy dose of the run game. And the Bears, man, my biggest question is around Nick Foles. Yes, he played well a week ago, but is this the streaky Nick Foles or is this the good year for Nick Foles? That is the biggest question. Not a believer yet. I'm going with the Colts.
So I'm going with the Bears. 23-19. Not necessarily because I think Nick Foles is the solution, but because I think the Colts defense has looked sort of artificially excellent, right? They're the #1 defense in terms of total yards, but they've played some real not so great teams, right? A ton of turnovers against the Vikings, a ton of turnovers against the Jets. This is not a true test of what this defense is made out of. And I think Nick Foles will have, this is a 3-0 Bears team, and even though our producer Matt Chen, I'm his least favorite talent, they're his favorite team, so I'm going to go with that.
I'm surprised. I have the Colts winning this game, and I have them doing it comfortably, or by 4 or 5 points. So Cynthia and I really disagree. I know how the model works. For her to say that the Bears are winning an upset by 4 points, that is aggressive. It is making me question my pick, but I trust Phillip Rivers. He's not as up and down as Nick Foles. Hawk said, are we going to see good or bad Nick Foles? We saw both last week. He had a lot of possessions in that game. He made some bad throws. He had a turnover. It is always a roller coaster with Nick Foles. I trust the Colts offense a little bit more. I trust the Bills, too. They're on the road this week, and they're playing Las Vegas in a game a lot more people might be watching because there's no Chiefs and Patriots late in the afternoon. I have the Bills winning this game. This is one of my favorite picks of the week. I think they do it pretty comfortably, 30-24. Devin Singletary is a guy to watch in this game. Love his running style. He sets runners up. He's got the little herky-jerky movements, a little old school. And this Raiders rush defense really has not been good. So I could see the Bills holding on to the ball for a lot in this game. What about you, Cynthia?
So I'm with you on the winner, but I only have a 2-point win forecasted for the Bills. And I do have, if you haven't been watching this Bills offense, you really, you're in for a treat now that this afternoon game was kind of really a compelling matchup to watch, nothing else to distract. Josh Allen, to me, is my quarterback #2 for the week in all of fantasy. I have a rushing touchdown projected for him because of that run defense that you talked about. But also, look at his deep passing. The ability to connect with Stephon Diggs has been game-changing for the Bills' offense just overall, and has really turned Josh Allen into a guy that's a top quarterback in the league. He's the new what Carson Wentz used to be before whatever happened to Carson Wentz happened.
I love it. The Raiders had problems with Cam Newton a week ago, and now they're going to have problems with Diet Cam Newton and Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen has been playing great football, and you can see that they're really opening up that offense for him because of his development as a quarterback. They're going way more 4-receiver sets and getting him the ball out of his hands, not running him nearly as much, and it's because he's really gotten better. He's taken the coaching. He's matured as a quarterback, and I got the Bills going over the Raiders this week in a W.
And don't take that as an insult, Bills fan. Diet Cam Newton, that's great. I would love to be Diet Cam Newton.
That's incredible.
Let's go to the break. Ooh, what do you guys think of this one? Joe Burrow coming with some style.
That's clean.
Whoa.
That's clean. I love it, Joe.
He's so determined. The determined Macaulay
Very Louisiana. I didn't know Joe Burrow could do it like this.
He's a star. And we are back. We start off with the Eagles at the 49ers. The 49ers are favored by 7.5 points, and I am going with the 49ers, man. I mean, they had Nick Mullins on the promotion for the game, so that tells you how everyone is believing in him. And Carson Wentz, man, I mean, I kind of feel bad. He's really pressing, trying to figure this out. I hope he does, but it won't be this week against the 49ers. Cynthia, what do you got?
No, Peter is problem for the Eagles, who have the most turnovers under Carson Wentz's career. Yeesh, 28-19 is my new adjusted final score for them. It was 27, now it's 28-19, favor of the home team.
Yeah, I changed my score too. I have the 49ers winning by, 32-24. Those injuries keep piling up. Deshaun Jackson also out for this game. They really have no one to throw to in Philadelphia. So I thought maybe they keep it close. I mean, it is Nick Mullins, but George Kittle is back as well for the 49ers. I think the Mullins train keeps rolling. The other primetime game, Monday night, Packers hosting the Falcons. The Packers are favored by 7. I expect the Packers to win this game 34-30. And by the way, I got one score exactly right a week ago. That doesn't happen too often. That was Steelers-Texans. Maybe this is the game I do it this week, where there's a whole lot of offense, not a lot of defense. Everyone knows the Falcons' defense isn't that good. People probably aren't really talking that the Packers' defense isn't really that good either, and it looks like Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley are trending to play. And so then I think they're going to entertain us with a nice game on Monday night.
I think we're going to be very entertained on Monday night as well. I have a 5-point win for the Packers, 31-26 in this one. You're right about the Packers defense, except for one thing that will make the difference, which is their ability to generate pressure. Matt Ryan, with the pressure that could just slow just enough for the Packers to overtake the Falcons. But not by a touchdown, only 5 points.
I think you guys are right. I'm not even going to waste anybody's time. I'm going Packers. I think you're exactly right. Packers are going to win big, man. This Falcons defense, I mean, they've had questions for a very long time. It's going to continue this week as they take on Aaron Rodgers himself. All right, next up, we got the Ravens heading to Washington football team, with the Ravens favored by 14 in this one. And I think it's going to be very similar to that. A couple touchdown win for the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson has a huge game. You watch Washington really struggle with Kyler Murray, and Lamar Jackson at this point is Kyler Murray on steroids. So he is going to ball out against Washington football team, and the Ravens walk away with the W. What about you, Cynthia?
Totally with you. Lamar Jackson has an awesome bounce-back game. I have a 15-point win. It was 30-16, but now it is 30-15, 15-point win in that one for me.
I have the Ravens by 20 points in this game. I mean, they're angry.
Wow.
The Washington football team does not have a defensive line right now. They're without Chase Young, they're without Matt Ioannidis. And I think Baltimore throws the ball. They have a lot of fun. They feel better about themselves after this one. Seattle, undefeated, heading this week to Miami. The Dolphins are underdogs in this game by 5.5 points. I have the Seahawks winning comfortably 34-24 because of these long bombs by Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited. I mean, Fitzpatrick, his chest hair is unlimited, and his grit is unlimited, but his weapons are not unlimited. And so I think he's not going to be able to keep up in a shootout against Seattle.
If you were looking for a fantasy quarterback to potentially consider, may I introduce Ryan Fitzpatrick to your lineup for you? The only interesting thing about, I have a 7-point win for Seattle. So the only interesting thing about when you look at the Dolphins offense is the fact that there's no Jamal Adams playing. So you could potentially get a little bit more in terms of the middle of the field. Devontae Parker becomes more interesting. And of course, Fitzmagic will be a good fantasy substitute if you're maybe looking to, if you had Ben Roethlisberger or Ryan Tannehill, who you can't get points for.
I love it. Russ continues to cook against the Miami Dolphins. Another stamp of approval in his quest for MVP is that the Dolphins knows he's been airing it out. They're going to try to take that away. He's going to do it anyway. They're not going to go to the run game. They're going to continue to pass it. Russ is going to cook all over the field. All right, next up we got the Giants at the Rams. The Rams are favored by 13.5 points in this one, and for right reason. I'm going with the Rams and a huge win against the Giants. Giants, nothing's working for them. They don't know which way is up. Daniel Jones is trying his best, but it just hasn't been enough, man. They have a lot of question marks, and they continue this week against the LA Rams.
Yeah, I think this is a game where the Rams want to show us that they can get out to that early lead and not fall behind like they did with Buffalo. They want to get to quick, fast, score. I have 31-16, a very commanding victory for the Rams. That play action gets right. They just kind of ease their way back into showing us that that first half in Buffalo was more of a fluke than who they are.
Yeah, I have the Rams winning comfortably too. Very similar score, 30-14. This is the wrong team, the Rams that is, to go to and face with a bunch of defensive problems. The Giants defense really does not do anything well right now. They're also without Jabril Peppers. They got all sorts of problems in the secondary. The Rams should roll and make my daughter happy on Sunday. She's already putting on the Rams gear. I should get her some Cynthia Freeland gear. She's a big fan, and she's going to lead us on this next segment.
You know what we should get her? Every child loves foam fingers, including all of the children that are on this show. It's time for More or Less. Are you ready? All right, let's start in the Bills and Raiders. Bills at Raiders. More or less than 52 points. 52, that's a lot.
Just keep going up. It's an offensive league, Cynthia. It's an offensive league this year. They don't call holding anymore.
Defenses will catch up. Defenses are going to catch up in this one. All right, you ready? Colts at Bears. More or less than 45 points. Nick Foles. Oh, we all agree. That means it's going to be more.
Ooh,
if we all agree that it's less, then it's going to be more. That's what's going to happen. These defenses are too good for me. I think that 45 is a lot of points in this one. All right, last but not least, Saints at Lions. The banged up bowl. All of the Saints are banged up. More or less than 54 points.
Come on, Hawk. Break the tie. Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
See this one?
Please.
See this one?
Matthew Stafford, Alvin Kamara, some banged up, defenses that haven't made many stops. Come on.
Less points. Crazy.
I love it,
Lots
man.
of
I think
Matt
it's
Prater.
more, absolutely. I think I changed some of my picks from our last show, too, so we'll have to check the records on that one. All right, let's tee up some parting advice. Advice we are giving to everyone watching the show for this week of games. Cynthia, you'll go after Greg. Greg, you'll go first. What do you got?
Okay, I'm going to go back to my old job, fantasy football advice. We don't know about the Chiefs-Patriots, whether it's going to happen on Monday. Maybe just put all your players in today. It's a weird world. It's a weird year. Don't be hoping that certain things happen. Be ready for the unexpected. Just take some fantasy points today. Pick some players that are playing on Sunday. Don't see what's behind door number 2 on Monday. It's just too weird out there.
I totally agree with you on that, and I'm going to add one there and be like, oh, let's be super grateful. Remember to take a moment, and as you're watching games today, just remember that we're so lucky to be able to watch live sports, and we can see what happens when one game even gets shifted. So we're so lucky that we get to watch all of these sports live, the football, basketball, all the other sports. We're so lucky to have the football to watch and to hang out together.
I love it. I agree with you, Cynthia. We are lucky to have live sports. Everybody, my parting advice is wear a mask. Keep yourself safe. Keep the people around you safe. Keep sports safe. All right, I think that's the theme for this week. So that does it for us this week on NFL Game Day View presented by Mercedes-Benz. As always, we will see you next week. Enjoy the games. My bad.